everyone, welcome to our online forum about contemporary youth concept of marriage and love. My name is Sumina. In this program, we have selected two young representatives from male and female groups who will describe their views on marriage and love for us from the perspective of personal life. After that, we have invited Su Hao, a well-known expert on marriage relationships, to give us an analysis and explanation from a professional perspective. Finally, we will invite Ma Xiaoru, an authoritative sociologist in the industry, to analyze the influence of young people's value-oriented behavior on the whole society from a macro perspective. Whatever, first of all, I will give you a brief background before the interview begins. The view of love and marriage is the general and basic view formed by people in real life. It determines people's subjective attitude and value orientation toward love and marriage. Nowadays, the traditional thought of every male should take a wife and every female should take a husband is changing quietly among young people. For them, marriage is no longer a required answer in life, but an optional one. Urban young women can gain financial support from working, which breaks the traditional idea that men earn money for the family and women take care of husband and children. We can also see that the values of men and women in love and marriage show differences with the changes of age, region, educational background, and other dimensions. Young people have more freedom in mate selection and pay more attention to the inner match. Nearly 70% of young people prefer to wait a true love rather than settle for lives. Now, let's invite our youth representatives to talk about their views in detail.
I think men are very afraid to get married and fall in love nowadays. The reason is very simple, because it's so tiring. The root cause is that more and more Chinese men are falling into poverty again. It has always been difficult for a poor man to find a partner and marry a wife. But in fact, I think that is in any year and any region. Decent young men with higher education and formal jobs, even if not particularly good, are at least very good young people, and should not be a group with difficulty in marriage and love. However, housing price has pushed them back into poverty, and poverty has made them difficult to marry. Obviously, the increasing difficulty of marriage and love for ordinary men in recent years is directly related to the soaring housing prices. On the one hand, housing is a necessary condition, and the soaring housing prices means that the conditions are rising, and many people cannot afford housing price at all. On the other hand, wages cannot keep up with the speed of housing prices. So they are frugal and have no exact money and energy to manage their appearance. The imagined floors, couples with lack of sufficient funds, make it more and more difficult to get married. A woman from a good family requires that both parties have an equal family background, and a woman from a poor family expects a good life. And they are difficult to satisfy for people in ordinary families. Another factor is the internet. It is human nature to show off, but when some people show off, it will give them an illusion. Everyone is rich, but I am poor. It also gives contemporary women an illusion that it is easy for men to make money, and if you make less money, you don't work hard and are incapable. These various factors have led to the decrease in men's desire for marriage and love.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia and I'll speak as a representative of modern women today, discussing my perspective on marriage and love, and will explain why I desire to continue educating but not being married at a young age. First, marriage remains a patriarchal institution. Many women stay single because they are aware of the potential for inequality in marriage. In fact, men are often able to better focus on their careers once married, as a wife can take care of their domestic responsibilities. Furthermore, when married, men are viewed as more responsible and stable by their employers and are more likely to be offered a promotion. Women who get married, on the other hand, are likely to be viewed with distrust by management, and it is assumed they will soon study having babies. go on maternity leave, and prioritize children over work. Next, marriage cuts women off from their friends and community. Married women are no longer a single girl who can go out and meet new people, join organizations, or do whatever they want. They got married. Their husband is now their family, and the social convention dictates that family comes first. This is the model of the nuclear family, which is socially isolating, separating them from friends and community. It's still considered improper for a wife to become heavily involved in unpaid community or political activities if it means too much time away from their family. These are the two facts about women after marriage, as well as the reason why I decided to continue educating and improve my own value over married at a young age. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Suhao and I will be the marital relations expert in this program. I will analyze and conclude the concept of marriage and love in three perspectives. First, I like to talk from the perspective of marriage. In today's society, men and women becoming more and more independent in many areas, such as economically independent. Because nowadays girls are very independent, they can work by themselves, earn their own money, and spend by themselves. Women's independence have made them no longer relies on men and can survive in this society on their own. Therefore, in general, marriage must be based on an equal relationship between the two parties. Second, I will talk from the perspective of people psychology. Based on the concept of mate selection, people like to put quality before quantity. Some of the young people have high expectations for marriage matching. Due to the high cost of marriage and childbearing, some young people adopt a rational evasions attitude towards marriage risks. Third, from the perspective of emotion, with the development of times, most of marriage are completed through the free love, and most young people think that marriage is the crystallization of love, that is the witness of love. Contemporary young people pay attention to the emotion expression, ideological exchange and communication under the condition of mutual love. They correct the motivation of marriage and establish a marriage based on love. Thank you.
Marriage and childbirth are one of the main contents of human life and the cornerstone of the building of human society. Their rationality and stability determine the future of human beings. In a public survey report on Chinese college students' views on marriage and love, 6.31% of college students are willing to get married before 25 years old. 51% are willing to get married before 30 years old, and 9.01% say they will get married after 30 years old. And some college students said they would choose not to have children after marriage. The survey found that, taking China an example, in young people's view of marriage and love, the age at which they plan to marry and being pushed back significantly, and the phenomenon of late marriage and late childbearing is becoming more and more serious. We can also see from the viewpoints of the two interviews that today's young people have high expectations for life and the quality of marriage, which leads to the phenomenon of late marriage and late childbearing. The reason for this phenomenon is that it can be roughly summed up in two aspects. On the one hand, young people pursue independence and freedom and think that marriage is a bondage. On the other hand, the high cost of marriage and childbirth makes it more difficult for young people to realize a family. However, the most direct social problem caused by this is that the contradictions in the world's population structure are becoming more and more prominent. For example, the decline in the birth rate of newborns due to late marriage and late childbearing will lead to a repeat aging of population and a shortage of labor. The population structures continues to get old all the way. Accelerating the arrival of an aging society will increase the social burden of pensions, seriously drag down the national finances, and restrict economic vitality. It can be said that young people's views on marriage and love are not only related to the development and the happiness of college students themselves, but also have an important impact on the future economy and society. Through today's interview, we can also see that on the one hand, contemporary young people still yearn for love, but their attitudes towards love and marriage are not mature and stable enough. This is due to the lack of young people's lack of special knowledge about marriage and love and the lack of social environment education. In the end, I advocate that young people should strengthen their understanding and knowledge of marriage and love, and call on our society to give guidance to contemporary young people. We should analyze and discuss correctly and jointly establish a good and positive view of marriage and love for young people.